Hi everyone, it's me, Crafty Witch. Welcome to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, so glad to have you back. And if you're brand new here, welcome to the madness. Consider hitting the subscribe button, hit that little bell notification so you know when I get a new video out there to you guys, because it is sporadic. And consider liking the video if you think it was worth your time. So this video is going to be a little kind of different, I guess. And hopefully I don't get too emotional. I don't want to cry. I tried to make this video a couple times already and kind of got all misty-eyed, so hopefully that doesn't happen this time. But anyhow, you are probably wondering what I'm wearing on my head. I'm wearing a traditional Ukrainian scarf. It's gorgeous. And for folks that know me, you know that like my favorite colors are like red and black, and so like this is right up my alley with the red roses. Kind of reminds me a little bit of my Doc Martens. I've got the Vonda 1419 boots and the 1460 shoes, so they're like black with embroidered red roses, and they're just freaking gorgeous. So anyhow, that's kind of like my aesthetic. You throw in some skulls in there and like I'm set to go kind of thing. But anyhow, I'm wearing the scarf for a couple different reasons. The main one is to show solidarity for our Ukrainian brothers and sisters with the war that they have found themselves in currently. And I'm not going to get into the whole politics of it. Politics doesn't interest me at all. What really speaks to me is the very human trauma, suffering, and pain that is happening, as well as the pain to the land, to the animals, like the life, the spirits of the place. That is hitting me pretty hard, and other people as well. I can't imagine the what they're going through, and it's horrible. And so anyway, we're wearing our scarves as a sign of solidarity with our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. When the Ukrainian people first came to Canada, when they first came as settlers to Canada, before, you know, in the very early days of our nation, they were a disenfranchised group. They were often treated very horribly by fellow settlers that came to Canada. They weren't treated like equals. They experienced a lot of discrimination from fellow settlers that had come from Europe, because Ukrainians weren't considered to be good enough or smart enough or what have you. And way back then, the Ukrainian newcomers to Canada and the First Nations people that were here, they developed a really strong, close relationship with each other. They would trade goods with one another. They had a very strong friendship with each other as peoples. And I think part of that was based on the recognition of each other's struggles and the obstacles and the pain that each other's peoples have gone through. And one of the goods that the Ukrainian people would trade with our people was these beautiful, incredible scarves with their gorgeous designs. And you know, they brought their culture, their languages, their food, their dancing, their folklore, their customs to this new world, and they shared what they had with the First Nations people, and vice versa. It was a very strong, respectful relationship, and that relationship has continued on. And a lot of people, a lot of women that are First Nations descent, that dance at powwows, the traditional dancers, we would wear these scarves in recognition and in honor of that relationship that we had with our Ukrainian brothers and sisters that had come to Canada. Uh, I myself used to dance what we call traditional. And if you don't know what that is, type in, go to Google, type in, or even on YouTube or whatever, type in women's traditional Native American powwow dance or something like that. And you'll see the images of what our outfits look like, especially here on the prairies and stuff. So anyhow, we incorporated these scarves, these scarves into our traditional regalia. So when we would dance, we'd wear these, but not necessarily on our heads. Our grandmothers would wear them like kerchiefs, little babushkas, and they would, when you put a kerchief on your head and you tie it on your chin, kind of thing. Like my grandmother, my kuko, she always wore that, and there is, I've got pictures of her wearing a babushka, and she always had these kind of scarves, and it's just that beautiful reminder of that incredible friendship between the First Nations folks that were already here and our newcomer Ukrainian brothers and sisters that came. And so anyway, my own regalia, I used to have a scarf that I would use. I would pin it at the back of the neck, and then the scarf would hang down the back. And a lot of us ladies or women's traditional dancers, we would use these scarves in that manner. Didn't necessarily wear them on our head, but we would pin the scarf at the back of our neck on our regalia, and the scarf would hang down our back. And that was a sign of that recognition of that real sacred relationship that we had with our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. So that's something I've grown up with, and we know about that, we respect that, and I always suspected that I had Slavic ancestry, and I grew up knowing that I was like 7 different, like I was a descendant of like 7 different cultural groups or ancestral groups, and I was like, I'm sure we would have some Ukrainian and Polish and stuff like that in there. And then, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I got a DNA test done, and my mind was blown. Like, I'm so many different things. Like, yes, there is definitely Slavic ancestry. There's Ukrainian, there's Polish, there's Eastern Russian, there's Western Russian, there's Korean, there's like even like India, like there's, what else is there? There's Greek and Italian and Spanish. There's Romanian. There's Dutch. There's just all kinds. Like Kakistan is another one. There's all kinds. Like, my ancestors love to travel, and they love to make love because we're a little bit of everything. I had ancestors that were sowing their wild oats everywhere, and it's really mind-blowing just how diverse my ancestry is. And so when I found out that, hey, yes, like, there is all the Slavic ancestry within me, I was like curious about, I wonder what their pre-Christian beliefs were, and I wonder what their forms of like witchcraft were, in their forms of healing and divination, and what their folklore is like, and customs and all kinds of stuff. And so I am on that journey currently about trying to learn more about the Slavic ancestry that I do have, as well as like some of the other things that I am. There's so much, it's actually pretty overwhelming. So I'm going with what I'm kind of drawn to begin with, which is the Slavic. Obviously, like, I knew about the Celtic ancestry, knew about the Germanic and the Nordic and that kind of stuff. And I'm very much drawn to those. The Celtic, the Germanic, and the Nordic, those three speak very loudly to me, as well as like the English part of me as well. Um, and then in addition to that, I really want to learn more about the Slavic, paganism, witchcraft, as well as the Italian witchcraft, because that speaks to me as well. Greek and like you name it. I want to learn more about it. Not just like with when I said Greek, most people just think about the mythology, right? But it's so much more than that. And um I love Greek culture and the food and the music and all that stuff too. So kind of just feel like I'm a child of the world. But anyway, a lot of folks that are of First Nations descent, that have grown up knowing about our sacred connections with our uh, Ukrainian brothers and sisters, and have um, these scarves and shawls, are wearing them uh, as a way to show solidarity and love for our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. And we're doing what we can. And for those of us that also are part of the witchcraft community, some of us are also, doing different types of spells and rituals for peace. Some are doing it for peace. Some are doing it for protection of the people, the animals, the land, the spirits that are there, kind of thing. Some of us are calling in like various Slavic entities, whether it's like Baba Yaga or other gods or goddesses from that region and that area to work with. So I am new to all of that. Okay. Yes, I've heard about Baba Yaga. Learned a tiny bit about her many years ago, kind of thing. But now it just kind of sparked that desire to learn more. And it it's really devastating, just the whole situation. And but we can still do something. And even if we're not genetically linked to them, we can still have compassion. We can still, whether it's lighting a candle, whether it's hexing a certain person who's in charge, or uh, you know we can do different rituals for healing, for strength, for protection, for resilience. We can do stuff even though we are maybe nowhere near what's going on. Um, we can support, local Ukrainian businesses and shops, and our Ukrainian friends and neighbors and family members, folks that maybe have married into our families. It's to remember to have compassion for one another, especially during this time. It's a very volatile situation. Don't be dismissive of another person's trauma or another group of people's trauma. Um, when people start comparing, like, oh, well, my people's trauma was way worse than your people's trauma, you're being a dick. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to say you're being a dick. Don't do that. You cannot invalidate somebody else's trauma, whether it's historical or present, because you think your trauma or your people, your group's trauma is more significant than their trauma. Don't be like that. Now is a time that we should be showing compassion for those that are experiencing trauma, whether it's experiencing like this war. I'm just thinking about like the people that are fleeing or trying to flee the Ukraine, and they're running to the other surrounding countries that are opening their borders, and they're like, yes, come. Let's not lose sight of our humanitarian bits to ourselves, because of politics or preconceived notions. Let's try to remember that these are human beings and we are all connected. We truly are. And I always think about how like the old elders always talked about like we're all connected. We're all related. And when they would pray for all the relations. And what they meant by that was they would pray for all their human brothers and sisters, in addition to all the four-legged animals, all the um, winged ones like the birds, all the swimmers, all those that swam in the ocean, in the rivers, in the streams. They would pray for the the ones that would crawl in the earth, the bugs, the insects. We're all connected. And what you do to one strand of this web of life that we're all in will affect, in one way or another, everyone else. And it's good to remember to have that compassion. That's the kind of like the First Nation mindset. And then my other mindset is like, somebody's gonna get a hexing because this is just not cool. And some people don't believe in that, and that's totally fine. And some people, they believe in like the rule of three, or the was it the rule of three, and do as you will as long as you harm none, and all that kind of stuff. And the way I was taught was like, there's good magic or good medicine or bad magic. But there's also a time when you can defend yourself by any means necessary to protect either yourself, your family, or somebody that is in harm's way. And it might be aggressive, and it may not be all love and light and rainbows, and it might be really dark, and some people might even view it as being kind of sinister, and that's okay, because ultimately your goal is to protect somebody that needs to be protected, and it's okay to do what you got to do for that. It's kind of no different if somebody breaks into your home and they're going to try to kill you. You have every right to protect yourself and your family by any means necessary. And while it may not be us directly in harm's way over there, there are people over there that need any kind of help that they can get. They need some miracles happening. And if we as a pagan community can do something, anything, whether it's lighting a candle, saying a prayer for peace, whether it is hexing a certain person in charge of all this crap, whether it's praying for them to have, like the Ukrainian people to have strength and resilience and to be protected and shielded from harm, or from the this is chancy, or from, I don't know what I was saying there. Ouch. Oh boy, her claws are something fierce. Whether we're praying, whether we're doing rituals, spell work, whatever, I think that there's something we can all do in a case like this. And this is not to say that other parts of the world that are experiencing war or trauma of some sort on a huge magnitude like this, that their problems aren't valid either. People need to stop trying to compare one group of people's trauma against another. That's just not cool. So anyway, I've rambled on for like 20 minutes. The baby here needs some love. She needs some affection. I don't know if you can hear her. This is Chansey, by the way. Hey, Chansey, you gonna say hello? Gonna say hello? Gonna say hello? Hello. She's my old girl. She's like about 14 years old, and she is like, she's like my little mercenary. She is a tough, mean old lady. This one, she can be really affectionate like this when she wants affection, but she's still kind of mean at the same time. Hey, she's like, what you talking about? What you talking about? You want to give me a kiss? You be so sweet when you want to be. You're fooling everybody out there. They're gonna say, "Oh, what a sweet little kitty," but like, she's a killer. She can be rough. My son, we keep his dog because he works out on the road, so he only comes home maybe 2 times, maybe 3 times a year if we're lucky. So we keep his dog. His dog has been living with me for like 4 or 5 years. So Chansey has had the opportunity for 4 or 5 years now to get used to Polly. And hell no, she beats up, and Polly's a pit bull. She makes him cry, she makes him bleed, she don't care. The other cats, they love Polly. They're friends, they cuddle, they give each other little kisses, and Polly is so sweet. He keeps trying to go up to her like, "Hey, be my friend." And she's like, "I ain't having it." And she's so mean to him. And it's like, you would think after 4 or 5 years she would get used to him by now, but nope, nope. She's mean, she's old, and she's cranky. Kind of like me now that I'm in that perimenopausal phase. Hey, what you figure? What you figure, Chansey? She's just looking at me like she's going to attack my leg. So I'm going to go. I love you guys. And I hope wherever you are that you're safe. I hope that you're healthy. I hope that you have a blessed life. And I hope that our brothers and sisters all over the world that are struggling, that are facing horrific circumstances that many of us can't even imagine, I hope there's a miracle that happens for them. So see you guys later.